Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric Hayden. I'm a meteorologist with the local office out of Newport, Morehead City. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have quite as many folks on the call. I know a lot of decisions were made after the 9:30 webinar this morning. Just some housekeeping. Most of you should have gotten the PDF briefing in your email here just about an hour or so ago. We will send out another one of those first thing tomorrow morning, and then we'll hold another webinar at 9:30 in the morning. Shoot me an email. Would you like another webinar tomorrow afternoon? As of now, our last webinar is scheduled for 9:30 tomorrow morning. If you think it would be helpful to do another one in the afternoon, we will certainly do that, but I'm going to wait your feedback from that. And I'm glad the camera's working. I see Drew making a joke about no pizza boxes in the background. We ate up all the pizza at lunchtime. So again, please let me know, do you want another webinar tomorrow afternoon or not? Based on the feedback, we will certainly do that if it's warranted. So just some small changes to this briefing, kind of tweaking things, snow and ice amounts, but overall the message has been the same. Some of the bigger changes, we added Northern Dare to a winter storm warning. We've mentioned that the last couple of updates that might be a possibility. And we also added some timing slides. Thanks to Matt out in Duplin County. You mentioned that's something you like, so we added it to the briefing itself. And we did add some of this wording. This is in our area forecast discussion, so we wanted to kind of elevate it on the briefing itself. There's still some question marks always with the forecast, but if the current forecast holds, if we realize the amount of ice we're forecasting and have continued to forecast, this is something we haven't seen in our area before. We have a lot of veteran forecasters at the office, have been through a lot of different events. Yes, we get snow and ice, but this is something we haven't seen before in our area. So please keep that in mind. Again, very significant ice potential, especially across the southwest part of our area. On this map, again, the main change, winter storm warning for Northern Dare. Not a huge change with the forecast. We're talking, instead of 1 to 2, 2 to 3 inches, but that is our threshold for warning, so that's why that change has made. We really looked hard at eastern Carteret County. From Beaufort east, you're going to be right on the edge of significant ice and some ice. Right now, it looks like the better chances for some ice and not to be a major ice storm, and that's why you're still under that advisory. So otherwise, no major changes. The county's shaded in purple. That's where we think the highest ice potential will be in terms of freezing rain. We made this special for you. This is one of the models we use at the office in terms of forecasting. This is the closest model to our actual forecast, so we'll use it going forward. All rain expected through this evening. So I know a lot of folks are wrapping up their plans. Kids are getting out of school, hopefully by now for sure. The bus is getting home. All rain. No concerns for the next couple hours through this evening, but well to our north and west as that cold air moves in. Roughly toward midnight tonight, that's when we'll start to see some wintry mix moving into the northern and western areas. So getting toward freezing, places like Greenville and Williamston, maybe over toward Plymouth, could be a wintry mix of just about anything, snow, sleet, or freezing rain. And then for the majority of us through midnight tonight, just plain rain. As we head through tonight, a cold front's going to move to the south and much colder air quickly moves in on strong northerly winds. You're going to notice the wind pick up if you're up at this hour, and you're going to notice temperatures really falling off. So I know we're mild now, but get ready for some big changes in the next 12 hours. So by 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, rain along coastal areas, and then far inland, that's where we expect it to be all snow. This pink shading, southern Duplin through New Bern, up through Hyde and Tyrrell counties, that is where we expect freezing rain. And then really close to the pink and blue line, that's where we'll kind of have that wintry mix of snow and sleet. As we go into a little bit later into the day, closer to after daybreak, 8 a.m., not a lot of change. Again, snow across the far north, a wintry mix in the middle, and freezing rain, portions of coastal Onslow County and even western Carteret County. At 8 o'clock, notice it's kind of scattered about. We mentioned this on the prior update at 9:30. Don't be shocked if for a period tomorrow we don't have a lot of precipitation, kind of a lull, maybe really light precipitation. As we get in toward noon and especially Friday afternoon and evening, that's when the precipitation will expand. Again, far north, all snow up toward Williamston. That's why we think the highest snowfall amounts will be there. In the middle, New Bern, just south of Kinston, kind of a wintry mix, snow and a lot of sleet. In that middle area, that's where we think the sleet amounts will hold down overall snow and ice amount. And our real concern is Onslow County, Jones, Craven County, Western Carteret, Pamlico, Beaufort counties, this pink area. As I go into Friday evening, notice it's going to stay in the same location hour by hour. So that freezing rain continues, snow to the north, wintry mix in the middle. But again, continuing to see freezing rain in these areas. Really temperatures will be below freezing in a lot of these areas during the day tomorrow, and only in the 20s up north. So it's not going to be one of these events where it's kind of borderline. We're going to get progressively colder through the day. A lot of us are going to remain below freezing. As we get into tomorrow night, we've said this the last couple updates, that is when the heaviest precipitation will be. So again, if there's a lull tomorrow, don't think we got out of the woods. We still have a lot of storm to get through. So by tomorrow night at 10, heavy snow possible across the far north. And again, Onslow County, Craven County, Central and Western Carteret County, this pink area stays in the same place. Those are many, many hours of freezing rain, all rain toward the Outer Banks. But you'll notice Northern Dare County later tomorrow night starts to get into a changeover to snow. We don't think you're going to see a lot of freezing rain up there. We think you're going to see kind of a rain to snow changeover tomorrow night. 1 o'clock Saturday morning, again, snow to the north, this sleet and snow. In the middle, you're not going to see a lot of snow and you're not going to see a lot of freezing rain. So kind of good news, places like Kinston and just north of New Bern, but continued Jacksonville, Maysville, Havelock, New Bern, Morehead City West especially, hours and hours of freezing rain. And as we get toward 4 a.m. on Saturday, things start to wrap up. Again, that changeover across the northern Outer Banks, late tomorrow night, Saturday morning, snow and sleet. In fact, toward the Crystal Coast will probably end as a little snow Saturday morning. So don't be surprised if you see a light coating of snow as you wake up Saturday morning, and then it's over with by 7 a.m. on Saturday. So that's in your briefing. You can go through that timeline. It's a good one in terms of kind of giving you an estimate of when we expect that wintry mix to move across our area. As far as ice amounts go, again, not a lot of huge changes. The bullseye still Onslow County, Jones County, Western and Central Carteret County, especially Southern Craven, Beaufort, and Pamlico. And then we dragged it just a little bit farther to the north and east. Southwestern mainland Hyde County could see some of those higher amounts as well. If you're anywhere near the red area, that's the best chance for power outages. And our best chance for the highest amounts of ice, Jacksonville to Maysville, maybe just to the south and west of Havelock. So up Highway 58, over toward Richlands, Half Moon, Piney Green, those areas stand the best chance for some of those significant amounts of ice. And again, when you're talking of values that high, ice like freezing rain clings to everything with a little bit of wind, that will likely cause some power outages. So these wind speeds won't blow you away, literally 15 to 23 miles per hour, but with ice on the trees, that's the problem. That could enhance the power outages. Still thinking the strongest winds overall will be toward Hatteras Island with some tropical storm force gusts. So for most of us, it's a significant ice storm. Across the far north, that's where we think we'll see a lot of snow, and that hasn't changed either. Hamilton, Williamston, through Plymouth, Columbia, kind of down 64, the highest amounts. 2 to maybe 3 inches in the northern Outer Banks, but it's going to be a sharp cutoff as you get down toward Rodanthe, especially south of Oregon Inlet. You're not probably going to see any snow at all. So it's really just Manteo, Kill Devil Hills, Kitty Hawk, Southern Shores, places like that would see the higher amounts of snowfall. In the middle, you're going to see a lot of sleet, Kinston, Kenansville, New Bern, and that's going to cut down on the overall snowfall amounts. And then we do think we'll see a light coating of snow all the way to the Crystal Coast, and that will be on Saturday morning. So this hasn't changed a lot. Again, don't expect a lot of snow for a lot of us unless you live across the far, far northern areas in our coverage area. So we mentioned that the event ends on Saturday morning. There will be no more precipitation this weekend, but it may linger some time. Temperatures will be above freezing on Saturday. Toward the coast, we'll probably melt everything and get rid of it. Whatever we don't get rid of, it's going to be extremely cold Saturday night. So black ice is a concern, especially areas that have a lot more snow or ice to get rid of. So anything wet Saturday evening is certainly going to freeze up. And the other issue, we keep talking about power outages. Anybody without power Saturday night, temperatures in the teens, that's going to be very, very difficult. The good news is the second half of the weekend looks even warmer, well into the 40s. So by then, everything should be gone. If it's not, or if folks are still without power Sunday night, again, another night mainly in the 20s, far inland locations, and that could be an issue for folks without power. So please keep that in mind. We did add some slides about coastal flooding. A coastal flooding advisory was issued with this update. We've mentioned kind of a northerly wind, a prolonged period of 30, 35, 45 mile per hour winds. And with that northerly fetch on the Pamlico Sound, some minor water level rises, 1 to 2 feet above ground level, Ocracoke Island and Hatteras Village, and also down east parts of Carteret County, maybe the opening of the Neuse River itself. Farther to the north, no real sound side issues to be concerned with. It's going to be mainly ocean side issue in the northern Outer Banks. Again, 1 to 2 feet above ground level. Perhaps as early as high tide tomorrow, a better chance on Saturday with the coastal flooding in terms of oceanside impacts. So the summary before we turn it over to you, not a lot of change, 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice in the highest areas, maybe a little bit more. That will likely produce power outages. Not a lot of snow. Coating to about 3-4 inches, but again, north of 64, that's where we have our best chance of more than 6 inches. And again, even though things end Saturday morning pretty quickly, this may linger into the weekend, especially with nighttime lows being on the very cold side. We mentioned this morning. We've really tried to push this on social media. We'd appreciate your help doing this as well. Thanks to the local media partners that have done this. They've done some stories with us today. A lot of folks have generators because of our tropical weather. Make sure that people know how to use them. Make sure people know how to use them properly. We don't want to lose any lives on the back end of the storm with folks trying to stay warm. Fireplace safety, if people are going to use fireplaces, make sure it's been cleaned out recently. Otherwise, you probably shouldn't use it. And always a good idea to have a carbon monoxide detector in the home no matter what. And never ever use your oven or any other appliance to try to heat your home. And that could be a real concern. Again, if we get these ice amounts we're forecasting and we do have power outages, folks are going to be in some trouble this weekend with those cold overnight lows. Our next briefing will be by tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. And again, we'll do a webinar again at 9:30 tomorrow morning. But email us if you want another one in the afternoon. We will certainly do that if we hear enough. If that's enough, then we won't do another one. So at this point, I'll take any questions.